Speculation about the next Tarkov wipe is in full force. History tells us that it's right around the corner, but we have no solid indications that it's actually anytime soon. There are a number of things to look out for though that might give us a guide, which is what we're checking out in this video. So today, Wednesday the 28th of June 2023, marks 182 days since the last wipe on the 28th of December. Looking back at the last few years of wipe dates, there's a clear pattern that we've come to expect. Roughly every 6 months towards the end of December and June, we've had our next major patch and game reset, dating all the way back to 12.9, which started on the 24th of December 2020. Since then, the wipe cycle has lasted between 165 and 198 days, with the variation due to the 12th of December wipe in 2021 coming earlier in the month than normal. Looking at this pattern alone, the most basic guess for the wipe date would be, well, I suppose it would be today, precisely 6 months later. But to be now would be very unusual from the regular pre-wipe, normally including at least several days of events, with the most notable ones being bosses or raiders on all the maps and all items moving to 1 ruble at the traders. This is really the point of no return, so to speak, for the Tarkov economy. This is also why many in the community got overexcited at the airdrops event. A significant distortion to the in-game economy is a telltale sign that things are afoot, as it's hard to backpedal once the economic floodgates have been opened. This did turn out to be premature though, and clearly BSG, the developers of the game, do not feel that the event was a big enough acceleration of endgame gear on players to warrant putting it later into the pre-wipe events. What have BSG said then? Well, as usual, not a lot, but at least we do have the roadmap to reference, although it doesn't give a great deal of insight. Having already had patch 13.0.5, the next two elements are the Unity 2021 upgrade and patch 13.1. Interestingly, the Unity update has no actual patch number associated with it, so it's up in the air as to whether this will come first or whether it's bundled together with 13.1. A few people around on the internet have confidently stated that, of course, Unity 2021 will require a wipe, but I'd like to remind everyone that the previous upgrade from Unity 2018 to 2019 happened on the 10th of November 2021 with no wipe, in between other major content patches, and had no actual gameplay changes, so we can't draw any solid conclusions here. To me at least, it would make sense that Unity would be released first, so that the bugs could be tested in isolation without the additional elements from 13.1, but that might not be the final plan. With this in mind, the wipe could happen at any time then in theory, but the not for a while narrative is gaining traction at the moment in the community due to the announcement of a tournament amped by organisers of The Hunt. This is a BSG affiliated tournament running on the 1st of July for North America and the 15th of July for Europe, set on private servers for 3 hours. The logic goes that BSG wouldn't wipe the game when there is an official tournament starting so soon, either because it's unfair on players that want to participate fully in the early wipe grind, or because the patch could cause many bugs that would make a PvP tournament risky to run so early. What makes it a bit confusing though is there will be drops for this event. Right now, I can't imagine many players caring about those items when it's likely that everything will be disappearing in a few weeks, as naturally drops are much more appealing early in a patch. This is why some people think that the game will wipe sooner rather than later, say 1st of July. One interesting element of private servers is that players get given a character with equal levels, skills and money to play in the tournament, so it doesn't actually affect their main account. In theory, the tournament could even run on the existing patch while the game was being updated, either on the 1st or the 15th. A tinfoil hat piece of speculation that I have particularly enjoyed to back up the 1st of July is the event quest Hint. This was the first broadly towards the end of wipe event that we've had, with 100% spawn rates for the bosses, and the completion text for this says at the end, others will get the hint I imagine. The main reward for this is the purchase of PvP ammo at Skier level 1. This is the top tier for 9mm weapons and currently a workbench 3 only craft, and is the main reward that you get for completing this quest. But even if you haven't done it, you can go to the flea market and see that it sells for a very specific 701 rubles. Is this the hint for 701 or the 1st of July? I think no, but it's certainly a fun take. The final part here for me is the Chronicles of Rigi series. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen it yet, but we've just got up to the part where Rigi has made it to Jaeger, which is Season 2, Chapter 3. Last wipe we had 5 chapters, and it could just be a different number this time, but the final episode had a very definite Rigi will return in Season 2 at the end, and although Chapter 3 could be the end of this season, it didn't feel like that to me. Obviously, none of us know when the wipe will be, and this time around it's even more confusing because of the timing of the various parts. I'm now going to guess the 25th of July, as this would give a bit of time to test out Unity on the main game after the tournament before deploying 13.1, but clearly at this stage I have no idea more than anyone else, so I'm very unlikely to be right. I've always imagined Unity 2021 coming first with a week of testing and then 13.1 arriving afterwards with the wipe, for mostly technical fixes but a handful of token content pieces much like 12.12.30 last summer. The big patch 14.0 is most likely to be in December-ish going off the regular schedule, and this makes sense sense tactically too for BSG, as Arena is, in my opinion, broadly gearing up to be released sometime before the end of the year, maybe November. Whenever it does come, this will bring in an influx of players from other games to try it out, and it would be a big missed opportunity to have the base game be in a buggy state for this. I'm sure that BSG will be trying to address as many of the technical issues as they can before Arena arrives, and that would also maximize the hype around 14.0 as well, given that this is the content patch to try to convert as many players as possible to the base game after being brought through the gateway of Arena. So let me know your wipe theories down in the comments. Otherwise, as usual, a big shout out to all my patrons. Hit all the buttons if you enjoyed the video, and as always, have fun in your raids.